Hello everyone, my name is Norton from Guinea Pig Hacks, and I'm here to teach you how to memorize vocabulary very quickly. Next slide. How to memorize vocabulary quickly. Now, there are two ways that I like to memorize things. The first one I like to call to memorize to forget, or TMTF. Now, to memorize to forget is a very quick way to memorize vocabulary. You can learn a list of words in under a minute. However, the only downside to it is that you will forget it after the test. There is no doubt about it, you will forget it. But the only good side to this is that, say your buddy, you're eating lunch and your buddy says, "Hey, did you study for the vocabulary test?" Oh no, I guess you better learn 30 vocabulary words in the next 2 minutes. So here is the technique to help you memorize those 30 words in 2 minutes. First of all, you will need to find the definition of the word. Now, if you have a nice English teacher, like mine, he will give you the list of words with the definition on them. So let's take an example right away. Our example will be cursory, to do with haste, and is a verb. Now, all we need to do is create a synonym, because synonyms are generally easier to remember than the definition itself. Uh, My recommendation is that you create the synonym yourself instead of actually looking it up or asking a friend. That way, you have some memory of, some actual memory of actually memorizing the word, which never really hurts, I guess. So once you have the synonym, in case this is hasty, I mean, I'm not that, it doesn't have to be creative, it's just hasty. All you need to do is create a connection. By connection, I mean, think of something that sounds like the word that you're trying to memorize, but also means the synonym at the same time. Or it doesn't have to mean the synonym, but somehow relates to the synonym. In this case, cursory, which means hasty, we could use the word curse. To curse in front of the wrong people would be hasty. Therefore, you can remember curse off cursory, you get the connection. Your brain generally likes to remember connections better than the synonym itself, or at least mine does, because I'm just that weird. So I'd recommend doing that. This entire process, these three steps usually takes around 5 seconds for me. I mean, you probably won't give it 5 seconds at first, but with practice it will come. However, there is a better way to memorize things. In this case, I call TMTR, to memorize to remember. This is an extremely effective way to memorize it. However, you will need to study the night before the test. Oh, too bad. But the good side about this, you will most likely remember it for the rest of your life. Now, some of you guys are wondering, why do I need to memorize some word for the rest of my life? Uh, it helps. It helps to use advanced vocabulary on your college applications. Speaking to other people, if you use advanced words, people will think you're intellectual or erudite, which would be very nice. So, to memorize these words, I would recommend using flashcards. Flashcards are the most effective way to memorize words quickly because you are using your hands to organize, reorganize all your cards, moving them around. Your brain likes to connect movement to ideas because, we were monkeys at one point. Monkeys like to move around. So monkeys like you moving around, which still remained in your brain because you like to move around, right? Unless you're some video game nerd like me, but moving around and ideas, they somehow connect in the brain. Uh, Once you finished using those flashcards, you have a rough idea. Like if I were to name any word, you would be able to you won't be able to explain it, but you have a faint idea of what it means. You can the next step would be to write a paragraph using the word as much as possible. Now, what I mean is, let's use the word let's use an example called stoic. For example, the stoic man stoically said, "Bro, back off," and stoically left. that sentence used the word 3 times. Create a paragraph using using the word ridiculously, using a ridiculous amount of the time used word. Wow, my grammar sucks. And then, of course, read heavy vocabulary books. Vocabulary always helps. Seeing the word in books helps you memorize. In fact, that's how most people most people start off. Those kids who are reading I don't know, Tamar or Lord of the Rings, the Tales of Edgar Allan Poe when they're like, I don't know, in preschool. Those guys usually tend to do really well on the SAT, the vocabulary section, because they've seen the word in context so many times. If you've seen the word in context a million times, you will most likely be able to guess what the definition is. And that's it. I hope this little help video or guinea pig hacks video will help you in your next test. And I wish you the best on your next test. And I will see you next time.